Hey, it's Mo, and we're back for content video 3 out of 5 in our partnership with Covve. Really excited about this one. We're going to pull through the learnings from our last video where we talked about how to connect in a live situation, virtually or in person. And now we're going to talk about follow-up. Again, we're going to hang off of that word systems. The most successful relationship builders have systems. They don't handle things sporadically. They don't handle things in sprints. They have a long-term system. Here's how to have a system with follow-up. First, the science. My favorite science around this is called the mere exposure effect. Mere is spelled M-E-R-E, and what scientists say is that the mere exposure to something correlates to liking. This work was first studied in Germany in 1876, 1-8. The science has seen 3 centuries. All you have to do if you want to dig into the mere exposure effect is fire up Wikipedia, type in mere exposure effect, and you'll just get a litany. It's a great place to start, a litany of research that says the mere exposure to something correlates to liking. The second thing I want to talk about from a science perspective, I learned from my friend Marissa King. She's a researcher at Penn. She's amazing. And what she said when we collaborated with a client a few weeks ago when I was working with her is that 80% of the feeling of connectedness from one human to another evaporates within about 3 months of us connecting with them. Let me say that again. 80% of your feeling of connectedness is gone, 80% gone within 3 months of your last connection. So we have got to have a system for follow-up. You might be thinking about your prospective clients or your clients. If they haven't heard from you, they're not thinking about you. That's what 80% does. It's why we say things like out of sight, out of mind. Here's what you need to do. 2 factors. 1, write down, use Covve. Somehow document your most important relationships. Figure out who do you want to keep in touch with, at what cadences, put that in Covve, put it wherever you want, but somehow document it. Our minds, back to the idea of how sporadic is not helpful, our minds are horrible at managing processes in our head. You've got to have this system to write down your most important relationships. Here's the key around that. Don't feel like you have to keep in touch with everybody. Think right now, how many people could you keep in touch with about once a month where you're just sending something to stay top of mind, connecting with them, having a quick phone call, going to dinner? Anything counts. Even a short little tiny email counts. But somehow, some way of saying, I'm thinking about you, here's something helpful. If that number's 5 people once a month, you should have 5 listed. If that number is 50, you should have 50 listed. But somehow figure out what that number is, prioritize the people, because your governor is how much time you can spend on this kind of thing. That's going to shape if you have 5 or 50 people on your list. It's probably not 500. And somehow document that in an app just like Covve. That's factor 1. We call that, by the way, a protomoi list. It's a Greek word. Lots of people, like Giannis at Covve is from Greece. So people usually tell me there's no direct correlation to English, but generally speaking, it means first in order, first among equals, or things like that. Your protomoi list is your first among equals with relationships. Stratify your list, have your high priority folks, focus on them. Thing 2, have an asset list. What can you share with them? What do you think is interesting? Do you love board games like Settlers of Catan, Ticket to Ride, Wingspan, Terraforming Mars? Do you like board games? Do you like barbecuing? Do you like gardening? Do you like Irish whiskey? Do you like a certain sports team? Do you like a certain sport? Do you like vacationing in a certain area? What business things are you interested in? Do you like Dan Pink business books? Do you like Agile? Are you passionate about strategy and strategic thinking? Whatever you are passionate about, just start collecting assets. An article, a TED Talk, a video, a book, anything that you think is interesting, lower the bar. If you think it's interesting, put it in that asset list, somehow document it. And now you've got both sides of the equation. You've got the people you want to focus on, and you've got the assets that you can send them or mention to them. Last tip, we're going to close, you guessed it, with systems. Put time on your calendar. Do it right now. Do it right now. How much time do you want to invest in your relationships? Let me frame it up. It's probably the most important project you're going to do the rest of your life. Pick a time that's worthy of how important developing relationship is, and create a system on your calendar, a meeting you have with yourself that lasts forever, an hour a week, 2 hours a month. Pick the cadence that you've got, pick a time that you won't be interrupted, and when that time comes up, it's going to be a meeting in your calendar. It's going to last forever. It's going to recur forever at whatever cadence you choose. When that time comes up, that is sacred time. Shoot notes to people, call people, set up meetings. What you'll find is when you batch these things, the first person you reach out to is a little sluggish, the second's a little easier. By the time you get to the fifth person, you are on a roll. You'll start thinking about the assets you've seen, the people you care about, and you'll reach out to them. Last thing, make it simple. Don't overthink it. The reason we say that it's the gift that counts, or it's the thought that counts, is that it's the thought that counts. So while if you're doing outreach, you're usually typing on your laptop and you're thinking the real estate is this big, remember, people are probably reading on their phone. Make your notes, whether it's a WhatsApp message, a text, or an email, make it so it's readable on a phone. Long emails get deferred. They land with a ka-thunk on the other side. Somebody goes, oh, they get sort of an ugh feel. I'll handle that later. Short emails get answered quickly. Challenge yourself to write in as short as possible, add value, send that asset, let them know you've sent that just to them and that they're meaningful to you, and move on to the next one. Short emails get answered. That's where you'll get traction. All right. If you want more, go to winningtherelationshipadvantage.com. We'll put that link here next to the video. And as with all of these videos, we hope this one helps you help your clients succeed.